YouTube, B Smokehouse back here with you, and I got a 4-pound Carver ham, aka carving ham. I bought this from my local big box chain store. It's already been apple smoked. This is 4 pounds. We're gonna get straight to it. This is gonna be our dinner tonight. Again, smoked with applewood before. I'm gonna get a binder on. Today we're using some spicy brown. The other seasonings that will be making an appearance will be a garlic jalapeno rub from Heath Rouse and a little bit of Blues Hog. Can't go wrong with some Blues Hog. So we're gonna get this rub down first. Now, years past, I've done this. I believe I may have recorded a video on it. Not sure. Have to go back on my channel and look. But that was a sliced ham, right? It's got all the slices in it. And I believe the flavor or the glaze that I made to complement that ham was a, I want to say a pecan praline. I don't know what specific glaze I'll be making today. A lot of times when I make recipes here in the house, I'm going with what I have on hand. So here shortly I'll start looking, and whatever I have, that will determine the type of glaze I make. This is ham, right? So a lot of your fruits, a lot of your sweets, your honeys, your maple, your pecan will complement this ham. Not quite sure the way I'm going to take this yet. Alright, we got a binder on. We're going to start with the non-presentation side first. That's the under. We're going to start off with our garlic jalapeno. One of the main reasons I am doing this now, I want to get some holiday cooking videos on the channel. I don't plan on cooking much for Thanksgiving. I believe we're going to be going over somebody else's house. I cook all the time, so being able to have a break, I'm not going to complain about that. So we're going to hit this. Not going to have to go that heavy with this. Alright. Get it on. That's the whole point of this. Get it on. Now we're gonna just get this other side. Now I'm gonna get this seasoned. I'm then gonna set this back in my fridge to let this ham soak up some of this new seasonings I'm introducing to it. Get that back side. And we're still going to get this meat side. I like this too because you can see those rings of fat in there. Can you see that? I like that. We're going to go nice and gentle on the smoke with this. I don't think I have any fruit woods left, so it would be post oak and maybe a bit of hickory. Nice and gentle. Bring it up nice and slowly. That way it stays moist. And then I'm going to start hitting it with my glaze. I'll bring you guys back when I start to make my glaze. Nothing too hard. You can do this at your own home. Might stay rather simple with the glaze. There's no need to really overdo it. At the end of the day, you still want to be able to taste that hammy flavor. Alright. Pat it on. Get this backside. I believe I bought this yesterday or the day before yesterday. It's been sitting in my fridge. Alright. Make sure we use up majority of that rub. And here's what we're looking like. I'm going to get this on my cookie sheet and I'll bring you guys back when I'm getting ready to make that glaze as well as putting this on my smoker. Stay tuned. Alright, we're going to go ahead and start working on this glaze. I've got about a cup of brown sugar. Any glaze you find is going to be packed with sweetness, either brown sugar or white sugar. A lot of honey. We're going in with 2 shots of your favorite Irish whiskey. Alright. I've got apple cider vinegar. I've got corn syrup. It's important that you heat this up because this corn syrup ain't going to move as much like honey. All right. Got a shot of spicy mustard. We're gonna call that half a cup. Got about half a cup ketchup going in. Maybe that's a heaping half cup. And then we're gonna cap it off with some honey. Call it another half a cup. Alright, now we're gonna mix. I'll bring you guys back when it's coming together. Stay tuned. Alright, here's our glaze. It's thick enough to where I want it. As this cools, it's gonna continue to thicken. I'm gonna leave it here, get it into a plastic container, let it cool. And as this ham gets done, we're gonna start hitting it with this glaze. Stay tuned. Alright, here's what we're looking like. I just put the ham on. Haven't done anything to it. I've got a split of oak in there over some Kingsford Blue Bag Charcoal. I've got 2 of my intake exhaust shut down, 1 open, and then my actual exhaust, I got it halfway open. We're going to go ahead and get this shut down, and we're going to get cooking. 140 is the temperature I'm looking at. I'm going to start glazing probably 10, 15, 20 degrees before that. Stay tuned. Alright, we are at about 90 degrees internal. We're going for 140. I'm going to start basting this with my actual glaze. No method to the madness, just getting it on. I'm gonna hurry up so I can put this top back on. Again, we're only bringing this up to 140. This will be a double smoked ham. So you can see that fire's ramping back up. That's fine. I'll glaze this about 2 or 3 more times before I actually pull it off, before we reach that 140 internal. Stay tuned. Alright, this is glaze number 4. This is going to be the 4th and final glaze. We're sitting at a temperature of like 128, 129. Again, we're going to 140. You can see it's tacked up on there nicely. The areas where you see the glaze coming off, those are going to be the fatty areas. The areas where there's fat on this piece of pork. This is a ham, double smoked ham. Shouldn't have an issue after this last tack up. Alright, that's gonna be about it. So other than that, it's looking good. You see the sheen on there. We can still see that those seasonings that I had put on that ham are still there in place. It's gonna make for a nice glaze. Stay tuned. Alright, this is glaze number 4. This is going to be the 4th and final glaze. We're sitting at a temperature of like 128, 129. Again, we're going to 140. You can see it's tacked up on there nicely. The areas where you see the glaze coming off, those are going to be the fatty areas. The areas where there's fat on this piece of pork. This is a ham, double smoked ham. Shouldn't have an issue after this last tack up. Alright, that's going to be about it. So other than that, it's looking good. You see the sheen on there. We can still see that those seasonings that I had put on that ham are still there in place. It's going to make for a nice glaze. Stay tuned. Alright, here we go with the finished product. Let's recap what we did. Add a 4-pound Carver ham. Not sliced like the other hams you may see in stores. The size of this is just perfect. There'll be no waste. First thing I did was I rubbed this Carver ham down with spicy mustard. This was already smoked from the store using applewood. After I rubbed it down, I hit it with 2 of my favorite seasonings. One was garlic jalapeno, and the other was a sweet and savory rub. And then I got a fire started while this set in the fridge. I took it out of the fridge to let those flavors melt, come together, and then I put it on my smoker. This stayed on the smoker for about an hour and a half, a little bit over an hour and a half. Right when we hit 95 degrees internal temperature, I started glazing. I like this because you can actually see some of that seasoning that is underneath this glaze, and that's kind of what we do it for, right? Looks pretty good. Now, I glazed this a total of 4 times, with that last glaze being right at 130. The total internal temp that we were going for was 140. This is set out here on a cutting board at room temperature for the last 15 to 20 minutes. I'm going to go ahead and slice into it. Now, you can take from scratch. You can do a pork butt or any piece of pork, and you can turn it into a ham yourself. I've got a video on that on my channel. I will pin it in the description as well as here in this video. You can do it from scratch, and you would take it to a much higher temperature to ensure that everything is done and to make sure that pink salt has done its job. We didn't have to do that. It was already done for us. This is a very quick way to amp up the flavor of your Thanksgiving / Christmas / holiday ham. Let's cut into it and see what we have. The reason we took it to 140 was to make sure that everything stays moist. You go past that, you kind of risk drying things out. This ham also had pieces of fat on it. I didn't trim, I left it on there. Let me get a slice off of here. My hand's gonna be sticky. So let's talk about that glaze a little bit. That glaze was a Irish whiskey. An Irish whiskey and brown sugar glaze. You can see the ham is still moist. Fat is still there, still going to be flavorful. Let me cut a slice. It's warm through and throughout. This is probably going to be one of my favorite pieces because it's that end portion. You don't just have that glaze seasoning, that outer rind. You can see it's moist. Delicious. I am getting saltiness, I'm getting savory, I'm getting sweet. Little background smokiness from that split of oak, post oak that we had on that fire. It's pretty good. A real quick way to jazz up one of these Carver hams. If you haven't done so and you made it this far in this video, please like, share, comment, and subscribe. Till next time, I'll see you guys shortly with another video.